All right, let's get this party started. Good morning, y'all. It's Ned over at My Philippine Dreams, N to the E to the D over at MPD. 196 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. The problem with losing weight is you lose the fat in your face, so all your wrinkles show up. I don't like that part of it. Um, this is the weekly live cast. Today is November 29th. 2017, the first day of the rest of our lives. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. That's why we call it the present, or so I've been led to believe. It's raining this morning. I'm hoping that the stream is going to hold up. A lot of times when it's raining here in the Philippines, the wires get damp and you get intermittent connections. I'm hoping it's going to hold up, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to be talking today about recent going-ons. I'll be responding to some viewer comments and make up some rather exciting stories about my very mundane life here in the Philippines. Now, I know that live casts are not everybody's cup of tea. Some people call them lazy casts, and for good reason. But for me, they're a good way to interact with my community during the live stream. The comments section is open. As always, feel free to ask questions, goof around, but just try to keep it as respectful, that pakikisama, that smooth interpersonal relationship stuff that we got here, and moderately civil. If you're going to be a troll, if you're going to say nasty things, you're probably going to get blocked and have to go make up another anonymous username and come back. This week I'll be covering the Philippines being the worst place to drive in the world. Congratulations for that award, for that accolade. A foreigner being arrested for multiple gun possessions, the consequences of not standing for the Philippine national anthem, and more. Let's just go quick and check the feed. It looks like it's going. Okay, cool. We're moving along. All right. But first, being the liberal socialist Democrat that I am, it's all about free stuff. And let's get right into the free stuff. This week's trivia question. I haven't done a live cast for a couple weeks, so I'm not sure what last week's trivia question was, but this is today's trivia question. Get your browser set to your favorite email client. Type in myphilippinedreams@gmail.com and get ready to answer the question for a chance to win a free copy of my ebook, Chasing Your Philippine Dream, an Expat's Guide to the Philippines. This week's trivia question is, and if you hear that dog barking, that was a dog that used to be right over the wall, and he spends every morning barking like this for about 3 or 4 hours. Finally, we talked to the owners, and they moved him to the other side of the yard, but you can still hear him. This week's trivia question. A Filipino made the karaoke machine in 1975. That was a day that is forever going to stand in infamy. But a Japanese musician invented it 4 years earlier. This Filipino, however, was the first to patent the product, the karaoke machine, which makes him the first patented producer of the karaoke and the one we can all blame for incessant caterwauling around the world. The first person to email the Filipino's name to myphilippinedreams@gmail.com gets a free copy of our ebook, a $10.95 value at any of your local book retailers. I don't even know if there are book retailers anymore, or if Amazon just killed everything. I was in immigration yesterday, picking up my passport. I had to get my 2-month renewal, and there was an American guy, and he was ahead of me in line, and it came time for him to pay his fee. It was like 2,400 pesos or something. So he pulled out 3,000 pesos and tried to give it to her, and she says, "Oh, sir, we don't have change. You'll have to come back when you pick up your passport and get the change," which is the way they do it in the Dumaguete office. That's the operating procedure. If you don't have change, you give it to them, and you pick up your change when you pick up your passport. So he wasn't too happy about this, and he was, kind of upset that they didn't have the change. So he says, "Well, how about this? How about I give you the 2,000 pesos, and then I come back and give you the 400 pesos that I owe you when I pick up my passport?" And the woman there was just, had this incredulous look on her face, and she was kind of taken aback a little bit. But again, pakikisama, that smooth interpersonal relationship, she was like, "I'm sorry, sir, we can't process this until we have the full fee." So he went off to find change, because I guess he didn't want to wait to get his change like everybody else. And then as soon as he left, they were all kind of like looking at each other, all the staff there with raised eyebrows. And I said, "Unsaman, walay utang," which means basically what? No credit? and that got a chuckle. So it's good to know a little bit besides, good to know a little bit of the local lingo. It's good to amuse people. I recently did an article on traditional courting in the Philippines. It's over at myphilippinedreams website.com. And it was actually, I thought the article came out pretty good. It got a lot of positive feedback. And even though a lot of the traditional courtship practices aren't still utilized, there are still like vestigial, stay vertical, y'all, remnants of it in today's courting process, such as chaperones. Chaperones, are still a pretty big thing here. Sappy love songs, the way in which people approach other people, usually through other people, the tulay, the bridge, the feelings of bastard, that loblaw state, that loveless state. So a lot of that stuff is still there. So check out the article if you're interested and if you're confused about the Philippines courtship process. But after reading it, you'll probably still be as confused as I am. I also put this past week, I put up the second trip to Siquijor videos. That was a really good trip. That was the trip we went over there and we didn't run around like chickens with our heads cut off trying to get drone footage and video of everything on the island. I thought the videos came out really well. I'm pretty proud of the end result that came out, the content. Travel videos aren't super popular with people. They don't get a whole lot of views. But again, if you're going to do this and you're going to do it long term, you got to do it because you enjoy it. You got to do it because you like the process. You like to be able to tell the story. You like to, share something significant for somebody else. And that's where it's at. Let's check out the comments real quick. 400 pesos. Jerry Risotto is in the house. Bend over. Captain Spaulding. Big Kev, no BS. Catabatic is here. Catabatic. What does that name mean anyways, Catabatic? I don't know. Good morning, you all. There's a lot of people saying stuff. Hi from France. Hello from the Philippines. All right, first up, we got to get into this latest news. Philippines is determined to be the worst place in the world to be a driver. This report should come as no surprise. Drivers in the Philippines are the least satisfied in the world, according to a survey by the traffic beating app Waze. Waze is a little app you put on your phone that people contribute traffic conditions, and they try to keep it up to date and all that. Waze, which claims over 90 million active users globally, released its 2017 Driver Satisfaction Index that showed the Philippines at the very bottom of a list of 39 countries. Considered in Waze's index were traffic density, road safety, driver services such as access to gas stations and parking, road quality, socioeconomic conditions, access to cars and gas prices, and so-called Waziness, or the happiness and helpfulness of the Waze community. Numerical score. Countries were given a numerical score to indicate where in the world are the best and worst places to be a driver. A score of 10 meant drivers were satisfied, while 1 meant miserable. The Philippines ranked number 39 with a score of 3 in the 2017 index, down from 3.13 last year. Filipino drivers gave the lowest marks to traffic density, socioeconomic conditions, and Waziness. Relatively higher were road safety, which got a 6.9 for some reason, driver services, which got a 4.3, and road quality, which got a 5.9. Most satisfied, according to the 2017 Waze Index, the top 10 countries with the most satisfied drivers were the Netherlands, France, United States, Czech Republic, Belgium, Spain, Slovakia. They're doing something right over in Slovakia. United Arab Emirates. Well, they got all that oil. They can make lots of tar, that's for sure. Sweden and Hungary. Joining the Philippines at the bottom 10 were Singapore, which got a 4, Colombia got a 4.03, Guatemala, Ukraine, Panama, Russia, Indonesia, El Salvador, and the Dominican Republic. A Department of Transportation spokesman for the Philippines did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The department earlier took the lead in trying to solve the country's traffic woes. It also proposed legislation to designate traffic as a national crisis, which is now pending with lawmakers. The Duterte administration has proposed an aggressive infrastructure drive, including big-ticket transportation projects aimed at cutting land, sea, and air congestion. Most of the projects are covered by the government's Build, Build, Build initiative. So there you go. That comes as no surprise. If you've ridden or drove in urban areas in the Philippines, because that's where most of this Waze information is coming from, probably Cebu, Manila, National Capital Region, all that. So that's a little rough. Viewer comment, Eric De La Cruz said on the Sikihor trip video, love potion is called Gayuma in Tagalog, Ned. Don't know what it's called in Bisaya. A love potion is actually called the same thing, a Gayuma. For those guys at the port are Philippine Coast Guard, by the way. So I got a picture of the guy with the assault rifle and all that stuff. So I thought he was military, but I guess he's saying that he's Philippine Coast Guards. The Gayuma. Good stuff. Recently, I had my water pipe break on the side of the house. I'm an idiot when it comes to fixing things. You know, I'm not a fix-it guy. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not a handyman. So I was panicking. I went out to the road, shut off the water main, and luckily one of my neighbors said, hey, what's going on? And I told him. So he spent the next 2 hours basically fixing my water system here at the house because the landlord, as always, was not responding to texts, even though it was a too big emergency. So at the end of it, I went inside, I got 150 pesos, and I'm like, here, man, I want you to have this. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And he's like, oh, no. I can't take that. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. Buy yourself a beer. Thank you so much. You helped me so much. Salamat sa imong tabang. And he's like, no. We're neighbors. You're part of the community. You know, you can't pay me. You can't pay me. So that was a pretty cool experience. To be told that I'm part of the neighborhood, even though I really don't do much. Except we had the Dumaguete Fiesta. And I was invited to one of the neighbors' karaoke parties. They found my karaoke to be hilarious, and I ate so much lechon, I thought I was going to literally get sick. Blah. It was a good time. Happy birthday, Dumaguete. All right, another report coming in from CNN Philippines. Not sure if it's fake news or not, but we're gonna hit it. Most of the poor in Southeast Asia live in the Philippines and Indonesia. That's according to a publication launched by the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, China and the United Nations Development Program. It notes that while extreme poverty was down across the region from 2005 to 2013, many are prone to still slipping back into poverty. An estimated 36 million people in the region are living below the poverty line. An important thing to keep in mind is this is the local Philippine and Indonesian poverty line, which is nothing like the United States, which I think is like $18,000 or $15,000 a year. Here, $15,000 to $18,000 a year, and you're middle class. So that's something to keep in mind about the Philippines. It's a poor country, man. And Raymond says, of course he smokes. He's a liberal. Yeah, man, I got to quit smoking. Disgusting. Catabatic, water pipe. I thought I left it out. Ooh, that was close. It's live. Okay, we're moving on here. Okay. Viewer comment, Ricky USA. He made a comment on the Fun to See Resort in Sikihor. I've found the best way to deal with the telenovelas. That's the Sarah teleseries, the Philippine soap operas, is to have your Filipino give you the basic storyline before she starts watching. It can usually be explained in 1 or 2 sentences and helps you understand why she is gasping in shock at whatever ridiculous relationship is unfolding. One sure way to piss off a Filipina is to ask too many questions while she is watching her stories. I hear you, brother, and that is excellent advice. They get very exasperated when you're asking questions about what's going on. Thankfully, the ones we were watching was basically Taglish, so there was enough English in it so that I could understand it. Angel also seems to be in heat. She keeps escaping out the gate when I bring the bike in or bike out. She's very quick for a fat dog, so we might have some puppies on the way. Not sure. My kind of weather. Oh, man, yeah, I got to go swimming after this. I'm hoping that the rain will continue because last week I went swimming and there was no shade, and I got fried. I was only in the water for about 45 minutes. It was almost like that blister sunburn that you get. Woof. It's tough. It's tough being me, man. It's tough being me. Craig Hartel said on my Thanksgiving video, I did the Thanksgiving video, the things that I was grateful for. Best wishes from British Columbia, Ned. Thanks for your perspective on life in the Philippines. As a soon-to-be expat, I have benefited from the wealth of information you have provided through your videos and your ebook. Much appreciated. All right, so a pat on the back from me. Continuing on to a gentleman named Pedro Vagabundo. And he left a comment on the Sikihor Trip Love Potion video. Ned, with your charm and good looks, you just need an eyedropper. So I don't need a whole potion, I just need an eyedropper. Oh, so it's all about me. It's all about me, baby. All right, moving on. Man arrested for not standing for the Philippine national anthem. A man was arrested in Clark for not standing while the national anthem was played in a movie theater. A report on GMA's 24 Horas identified the man as Bale Einstein Gonzalez. His middle name is Einstein. 20 years of age, who reportedly refused to stand even when he was told to by charge d'affaires to Iraq, El Mercato. So this charge d'affaires to Iraq, El Mercato guy, was obviously a high-level government functionary who was also in the cinema. And again, it just goes to show you, don't piss off someone who is important. Cato was reported to have told Gonzalez to stand up twice for the national anthem, but the latter refused to do so and instead ate popcorn. After the movie, Cato asked help from police officials to arrest Gonzalez, who has denied the allegations. Mr. Gonzalez will face charges of violating the flag and heraldic code of the Philippines and could be fined from 5,000 to 20,000 pesos and jailed for as long as a year. Earlier this year, House Bill 5224, mandating stricter compliance with the rules on showing reverence to national symbols, was approved on the third and final reading and transmitted to the Senate, but was met with mixed reactions from legal experts. Yeah, so basically if you're in the Philippines and you're a Filipino and you don't stand for the national anthem, show proper respect and all that stuff, you can get arrested and go to jail. Does this apply to foreigners? I have no idea. I just usually stand up and hum along. So that's good. Viewer comment. Peter Peterson says, on the Fun to See Resort Sikihor, he said, you say she's not your girlfriend. I guess he's referring to Dana. But I am sure no man can sleep in the same bed with her and not try. She's so beautiful. To which I replied, me, it's not all that difficult. Just think of Rosie O'Donnell. And Dana's not my girlfriend. She's not my girlfriend. She's a friend. She's my adventure buddy. And should find any references to her being my girlfriend rather uproarious. Sweden Dives made a comment on PhilHealth for foreigners. He said, this is not real insurance. It's just a discount product. A real insurance lets you pay only one-time bill if something happens. And that's a good point. It is a discount product. PhilHealth covers about 35 to 50% of hospitalization costs. It's $340 a year now. It used to be $50 a year for foreigners. They recently increased it, but I still have it. I'm still willing to pay $340 a year for it. Let's go back to the comments. Back to comments. The speaker on my TV blew. I had to go. Luckily, I have a Prestige brand. It's a Prestige. There's a couple of Philippine type TVs. One of them is Prestige. Another one is Devant. The good thing about that is, even though they're not super high-level smart TVs like Sony or whatever, the Bravia series, major towns have service centers, so I went down the service center. The speaker is going to cost $10 for the part, and it's going to cost about $3 for them to replace it. So that's cool. But I still got I finally got a speaker bar, a sound bar for my TV, because some of the stuff I download is just too quiet. Moving along, let's get to the gun nuts. British national arrested in Philippines with cache of guns and knives. Dun dun dun. A British man has been arrested in the Philippines after police said they found 5 handguns, live ammunition, and other weapons including combat knives and a stun gun in his possession. Matthew George Marnie was photographed in custody wearing an orange t-shirt bearing the acronym for the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group, the CIDG, the primary investigation arm of the Philippine Police Force. Marnie, 38, was arrested last week along with a Filipino, Romel Mañas Castillo, in Pasig City and in the National Capital Region. The pair were caught by the agent's anti-transnational crime unit. It added officers had found 5 .45 caliber pistols with 25 bullets, 14 bladed weapons, 5 brass knuckles, 1 slingshot, 1 stun gun, as well as a pistol cleaning kit and holsters. At least he's taking care of his shit. Proper maintenance, man. Preventive maintenance. The CIDG told The Guardian that they had received information from a tipster who reported seeing armed men in Marnie's residence. Authorities conducted surveillance and confirmed that Marnie did not have a license to carry firearms in the country. They said, "We were surprised to discover 5 short firearms. That's not normal." That's one of the CIDG spokesmen. The CIDG said it was a priority case and the police would be communicating with the local British embassy to check if Marnie had a criminal record. The arrest was part of a police campaign to recover loose firearms amid fears of another terrorist attack in the country following a 5-month battle with armed groups linked with Islamic State in the southern Philippines. One of the spokesmen said, "Right now, considering that there is martial law in Mindanao, it is quite alarming to arrest a foreign individual with a lot of firearms." On LinkedIn, the profile for a man called Matthew George Marnie said he had moved to Manila in June of 2015 to help, quote, over 2,500 Middle Eastern investors to purchase off-plan property in Manila, as well as over 50 others to set up businesses in the best location, end quote. Other Google searches note that Mr. Marnie might be involved with some business investment scams conducted online. Hey, it happens, man. Takes all kinds in the Philippines, and you're probably going to meet them all. Captain Spaulding, no, none of that happened to Sikihor, man. None of that. Home defense system. Actually, I'm going to do a video. Hopefully Dana will agree to do the video with me. This one should be pretty funny on home defense systems for foreigners in the Philippines. Because your options are rather limited. The best thing to do if you got if you're in a long-term relationship, she can get a firearms card, and then you get like a shotgun or something. I know more than a few guys have done that. All right, moving on. We're going to get through this, people. Me and you, we'll do it together. And Ricky USA also notes, he said on the Thanksgiving video, "Thank you, Ned, for your video about shopping at Unitop a couple years ago. That's how I found you. That's how I found all you Philippine vloggers. I keep contact with a girl I met on one of my vacations there, and she told me she got a job at Unitop. I didn't know what kind of store that was, and Google led me to one of your videos. Now I spend way too much time watching YouTube, so I guess it's your fault. My apologies for that. My content is just so good, though. It just sucks you in. Takes you over. It's like the Stockholm Syndrome. Next thing you know, you're loving the Philippines. You've never even been here to smell all the burning trash and all the congestion and all the craziness." Yeah. Unitop is one of those Chinese stores where they get a lot of Chinese products. Half the stuff on the shelf is already broken. But the good thing about shopping there is if you get something and it breaks, a couple months later, it's so cheap that it's basically disposable. So you just go back to Unitop and get another one. Plus, they always got crazy music playing on the karaoke systems there. Insane. Unitop is a good time. Pastor Kettlecorn. He said, Pastor Kettlecorn, CEO, 5 days ago, he left a comment on my second Sikihor trip. "Angel is a very loyal, Ned, great dog. May I ask you, do you pay a friend or local to feed her while you are away? I don't imagine pet boarding is a huge thing." To which I responded, "I just leave her with a couple of days of food and a pat on the head. A buddy of mine actually has the key to my gate and house in case of an emergency. And what's great about Angel, again, it's a dog, and it's unconditional love. And every time I come back from a trip, she's basically doing backflips because she's so glad to see me, and maybe she smells chicken bones or something because I always try to bring her something as a treat." Part of your home defense in the Philippines is definitely having a dog. And basically, the easiest way to get a dog is just to leave a trail of chicken bones into your yard. And when the dog comes in, slam the gate shut, feed it for a couple days. It will be forever grateful and will be your new loyal pet and will bark at intruders. Because that's something that happens in our neighborhood. If the dogs know you, they won't bark. If it's a stranger and the dogs don't know you, they'll go insane, which is good. The power button to my PC blew out yesterday, and as you guys know, trying to get anything fixed here can sometimes be a bit of an ordeal. Luckily, there was YouTube, so I just typed in broken PC power switch, and it showed me how to just open it up, and there's a reset button and a power switch. So what I did was I reversed the reset button and the power switch on the motherboard, just those two little pins. And now my reset switch is my power switch, and my power switch is just nothing now because it's dead. So you got to love YouTube whenever you got to fix something. My first experience with how useful YouTube is and how good the internet is, I was house sitting for somebody, and one of the steam pipes burst on the 3rd floor. It was a 3-floor house. Steam pipe burst, water spraying out, couldn't find the water shutoff valve. I don't know how to fix stuff like I noted before, so I jumped onto YouTube and I learned actually how to fix it, and I was able to fix it. A moron like me. So thanks and props to YouTube for helping morons like me get through this stuff. And like I said, Dumaguete just had its fiesta this past weekend. This was also the 4-year anniversary of me arriving in Dumaguete. And 4 years ago, when I arrived in Dumaguete, I didn't know it was fiesta. And if you're in the Philippines, you know what fiesta is all about. Hundreds of thousands of people everywhere. It's like schooling fish. It's insanity. So when I got to, and I was staying right outside, I was staying at Dumaguete Studio Apartments, and I took a trike into town. I got off the trike and I'm like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? Luckily, you know, fiesta only goes on for a couple days, and it chilled out after that. Thanks to my neighbors for inviting me over. Thank you for all the lechon. Thank you for letting me embarrass myself horrifically with my limited karaoke skills. Basically, the only songs I can do are like Elvis songs, because I can do a pretty good Elvis voice. So I do like Hound Dog and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. I enjoy it. Back to the comments. Evil Aloe says, maybe YouTube can teach you how to grow hair. Yeah, man, I get it. I get it. I get it. I'm bald. I'm bald, and I'm living in a country where just about every Filipino has a rich, luxurious mane of hair that is like more akin to fur in its thickness and its luxuriousness than anything else. Not that I'm holding resentments against Filipino guys with their beautiful hair. Oh, also, don't forget Thursday night if you're in Dumaguete City. The Sabanal family plays their acoustic set Thursday nights at Flip Flops at 7 p.m. And Marichu actually just recorded a bunch of songs in a professional studio, audio studio. Janet and Marichu also performed at the recent Dumaguete Fiesta. So our plan is to do a music video using the drone and stabilized footage and really try to set this off really well. The song that she sent me, I can't release it because it's, I'd have to get her permission first. It's a really good song. I mean, it's amazing. Of course, it's a love song about having to leave your true love because of whatever reason, and it's really good. So I'm looking forward to doing that, definitely. I also got to talk to Dave. I got to find Dave Phelps. I got to message him. Jeff Lamb says, more guns, less crime. I don't know, man. A lot of people seem to be killed with guns in this country. Evil Aloe is insulting Jerry. That's not nice. Be nice. Hey, but at least that guy's gone. What was his name? I forgot his name. Rick S., how is your friend Ron doing? I'm not sure which Ron you're responding to. Huh. Yeah, VLS notes, Ned takes his adventure buddy chick to a quiet island and checks into a beach bungalow with one bed. Hey, it's the way it is, man. There's not too many places that actually have twin beds. Evil Aloe asks, Ned, how tall are you? I'm like 5'9.5". That's one of the first things people say when they meet me. They say, well, I thought you were taller in real life or bigger in real life. I'm like, no, man. I'm small. I also ran into a buddy of mine yesterday. I hadn't seen him in a while. A gentleman named Blue. And he asked, one of the first things he asked about was the status of a case against an American expatriate that was murdered here in Dumaguete a few years back, a gentleman named Ted. And when Blue was here, we actually went on like a mass date. It was just it was Ted, his wife, Blue, his girlfriend, and myself, and a couple other couples. So he got to know Ted. He really liked Ted, and Ted was the nicest guy. And a couple of years back, he was somebody broke into the house, stabbed him to death. They robbed the house, and the culprit has never been apprehended. It was a freaking horrific case, and I'll tell you, man, that I was after that, my rose-colored glasses basically shattered. I gotta tell you a story about one thing that I did that night. At some point, Gene Vandiver says you must have the same barber. Me and the hobo, yeah, I think so. Ned is taller than Mini Me. VLS says, Ned, are the Sabinal ladies married? Nope. They are single and they are pursuing their own thing. Let me tell you, and this is interesting. I'm running into a lot of people who are very independent, very sure of what they want. And that's something that's actually really cool to see. And if you've been here or if you're here, you know what I'm talking about. There's like a movement for single people to not, to not be dependent on other people, to do your own thing, to love yourself. I don't know how many permutations you could take that into. So that's cool to see. Skin tax. Dun dun dun. So that's about it. Jeff Lamb says, never feed your dog chicken bones. Yeah, you tell Angel that. Tell Angel she's not getting any more chicken bones ever again, or pork bones. See what her response is. Dude, the Asgals, the Aspines, the Assong Collier, the Assong Pinoy, they're tough as hell, and their teeth are like sharks. Matter of fact, when Angel's been going out, like I said, I think she's in heat, and she keeps on escaping, going out. Every time she comes back, she's got new battle wounds. She's got a new scar. She's got blood all over her. But she's so happy when she comes back. She's like, that was great. That was great. I'm like, oh my God. I guess I should see the other dog, right? Triple Decker must have been North Shore. Yeah, no, it was actually downtown Dorchester and Melville Avenue. Melville Avenue, Dorchester is like the wealthiest street in Dorchester. It looks like you're in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Then you get to the end of the street either way, and you're on Dodd Ave or Blue Hill, and all of a sudden it's crazy ghetto again. Philly in the Philippines, good morning. Also, I'm on Patreon. If you consider what I do to be of any value, check out our Patreon. Continued support is appreciated. I got a list of people, but I don't have it in front of me, so I can't find it. That's about it. Again, thanks everybody for taking part in this week's live cast. A lot of it was information that we were already aware of, like how bad the Philippines is to drive in. I remember when I first got to Manila, even as a passenger in a taxi, it's horrifying because the guy's going so fast, he's weaving in and out of traffic, because these guys are seasoned pros, man. The drivers here, they should be, racing or something. They should be, Formula One, the way they can drive. And it's a horrifying experience. So we knew about that. Also, you know how serious they take the Philippine national anthem. There's a couple of songs that you're not allowed to sing, I believe, like karaoke in the Philippines, and that is one of them. So we don't want to be doing that. But I didn't know they actually arrested people for not standing for the Philippine national anthem. And again, keep in mind, there's all kinds of laws, there's all kinds of rules, there's all kinds of regulations here. But until you piss off somebody really important, a lot of times that stuff doesn't get enforced. But if it's a very important person, if it's a VIP, and you tick them off, there's going to be hell to pay. Dun, dun, dun. Bumper cars. Yeah, basically bumper cars. And not only bumper cars, but it's bumper people. I still haven't got used to this. When you're walking in crowds in the Philippines, man, everybody's just bumping into you. They're checking their phones, they're updating their Facebook status, they're just staring off into space. So it's like being in a cardboard box with a bunch of ping pong balls, and you're just slowly shaking it. Everybody's just bumping into each other. There's no personal space here. No personal space. So yeah, definitely check out that article on courting in the Philippines. I learned a lot from doing the research. I learned a lot from talking to people. I was actually courting somebody not too long ago. It didn't end all that well, but hey, that's life. And it's just really interesting to see how the old is new again. And it's another example is the balat sibuyas, the thin skin of Filipinos, the sensitivity they have to what they perceive as insults or put downs or whatever. That comes from the amor propio, that comes from the hiya, the love of self, the shame, trying to avoid shame and all that stuff. And the pakikisama, the smooth interpersonal relations. Usually, Filipinos will not get into each other's face. As a matter of fact, if you remember the love potion video I did, I actually violated pakikisama during the video, and I think I was doing it for comedic effect. Didn't come off that well, though. Because when the guy said he wanted 500 pesos, I was like, oh, what? 500 pesos? Oh, no, we're going to have to Pacquiao. I over-responded. That was a violation of Pakiki-sama. I was too direct. You got to be indirect. You got to be, you got to just tone it down so nobody loses face, nobody gets insulted. And eventually I got the price down a little bit. I haven't used the love potion yet. I'm actually scared to mess around with it because that voodoo stuff kind of scares me. So I think I'm just going to keep it as a souvenir. And just remember the good time we had, doing that. It was a lot of fun. So again, that is it. Mr. Biloxi Fireman says, I feed my Great Pyrenees Guardian dogs on my farm about 300 pounds of duck, chicken, turkey bones a year. Philippine dogs are like farm dogs. Yeah, man, they just crush those bones. They crush pork bones, man. I give Angel the big pork bones that you can get at the store and stuff. She just she destroys them. Okay, that's basically it. I gotta do a video sometime on if I was president of the Philippines, what I would do, and I'd probably put a national ban on burning stuff. In urban areas or around urban areas. Switch the national language to English because I think the Philippines would become a real powerhouse of Southeast Asia if they focused on the English. They got so many languages. They know so many languages and they know. But when you're watching them, and I've been actually actively learning Bisaya for a few reasons. But what's going on when people are talking? They're switching between English, they're switching between Tagalog, and they're switching between the local dialect, Bisaya or something like that. And yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, thanks again. Gene Vandiver says, the love potion, isn't that delivered by an enema? No. Thank you for contributing once again to all the Vandiver and Vandiver alts and clones and all that stuff. Brian Patley says, by Filipino standards, 5'9", you're a giant. Which reminds me of those three basketball players that got arrested in China for theft. I think they were shoplifting or something. If you are taller, 4 feet taller than everybody else in a store, you probably don't want to be shoplifting. Jesus is my King 777 says, don't come back to the USA. World War III is coming soon. Let's hope not, man. Daniel Edwards stores Lazada is a wash. I like Lazada. I just ordered a bunch of stuff off Lazada. And with that, once again, sincere thanks to everybody who watched, contributed. Titan Gel order, open it today. Bob Cooper says Titan Gel, order it today. Okay. Yeah, the Titan Gel has become a big thing in the Philippines now, and it's a lotion or a gel that you apply to your penis to make it larger, and then you do things like pull it to, stretch it out and stuff. It says something about the state of affairs in the Philippines. So thanks again, everybody. Take care until the next time. And check out that article on courtship. Appreciate it. Peace out. This is Ned from My Philippine Dreams and Angel. We're gone.